Happy New Day, family. This is Dr. Kia Pruitt. It is Thursday, December the 30th, 2021. Only 2 more days before the new year, so I'm so happy. I'm coming from you from my car because I stopped at a place to go visit a loved one who has been feeling ill for some time, and I'm just doing my duties as a family member. And that's what's so important during this time. It seemed like they kept us away from our family members. However, we have to do what we can do to, yes, guard ourselves and make sure we're healthy, but also to make sure our loved ones know that we care about them and that we're here for them. So why did I come here today? I actually came to deliver some breaking news for those who haven't heard about what's going on. Many of you probably have, because a lot of you who are part of my soul family do your best you can to stay up on what's going on in the world, geopolitically, economically, and so forth and so on. But some of us don't know, and so that's why I'm here. So what I've been made aware of just through my research and people contacting me is that flights all across the world have been grounded and canceled. I think when I read articles about it yesterday, they were saying 5,000 flights internationally were canceled. But now, I think the latest thing I saw was 7,500. But I'm getting information from my friends and from others who kind of have their ear to the news because they work in the industry in terms of working for airlines, major airlines. They're saying that it's above 10,000 flights have been landed or canceled. Now, I know that the official news is saying it's because of the newest V word, or the newest strand of it. But we've heard some other very, very important breaking news that kind of makes a little more sense. So yes, some people may be getting out of the way, out of sorts, and not feeling their best because it really is a strand that's going around and people are really under this type of V word. We have to be careful when speaking codes. But additionally, for those of you who don't know, Robert Kennedy and many, many pilots all across the country that I know of, and even the globe, because I read something about Australia, pilots all across the globe are suing 46 and 46 cabinet for violating the Constitution for the United States of America because of this so-called I don't want to say the word, it starts with the M, forcing people to do something against their will, forcing people to take the jabberdo, the Kukarachi kill shot, the cure against their will without it being FDA approved. And even the ones that were allegedly FDA approved, it was newly approved and it hadn't gone through the sufficient amount of clinical trials. So those of you who are in medicine, you have to do clinical trials. There are certain protocol you're supposed to take before you even unleash a cure. Yes. Now, I had posted a video, I want to say like a couple months ago, where I told you all that the FDA had actually said this cure was very, very harmful and that it can actually cause our demise. When I posted that video, the platform from which I'm broadcasting took the video down and told me I was violating their standards. Even though if you look it up on this platform, did the FDA say it was harmful? And I can even provide you a link. They will say it themselves that it's harmful and that it can cause your ultimate demise, like your complete and total demise. I'm trying not to say the D word because I might get a strike. So they said it themselves, and I can show you where in the video that they said that, but you have to be very, very quick because what they did is it was a conference where they were talking about this cure and they flashed a slide very, very quickly, very, very quickly. So you have to be sharp and quick and catch it where it lists all of the side effects as well as one of them being your ultimate demise. So these pilots are suing 46 and his whole entourage. I don't know how to say it so I won't get flagged, for violating the Constitution for the United States of America. So what happened is, when you have those type of lawsuits, then they've said that the airlines have even violated their own standards, forcing this, even though they know that this protocol was not lawful themselves. So what happened is, yes, a lot of pilots have said, I am not going to fly. I am not going to harm many people in America and across the globe, or our children, for something that is wicked, nefarious, extremely harmful, and causes people to be off this planet and transition before their time. So these pilots have gotten together. There's a major lawsuit. They said, we're not doing it. And then there's some pushback from the airlines. So that is what's really going on behind the scenes, along with this new part of the V word that's been unleashed on the planet to cause us to be ill. So look it up. Look at Robert Kennedy, Sue's 46, but you know his name, Robert, and pilot Sue 46. Because if you look on my platform, I even talked about how one pilot mid-flight had a heart attack, got really sick. He was speaking at first, then he got inaudible, started speaking inaudible words, clutched his chest, and then collapsed and left out of here before his time. So the co-pilot and anyone else that was around had to go rescue him. What would have happened if the co-pilot didn't have the presence of mind to take care of him and make sure that everything was in autopilot? So you see, this is crazy, family. So be safe, do your due diligence, do your research, and be careful if you're traveling right now. Do your research so that you can know what I'm saying, whether or not it's true, because you always want to verify things for yourself. So not only did this one particular pilot leave out of here and go to another plane, if you know what I mean, transition, and he had just taken the cure, but there are several pilots that are listed in that lawsuit that are also saying they collapsed, they had blood clots, they had heart attacks immediately following or soon after receiving this cure. Now, the reason why the airlines continued to make this still something they had to do was because this is the way somebody explained it, they're saying, well, the co-pilot can take over, or there's an automatic mechanism into the system that can take over. But what happens if the co-pilot has to go and take care of the pilot? Or what happens if you're so far up or too far up for the automatic mechanism to kick in and take over the flight? What happens, as the reporter who was doing a press conference on December the 24th, I think it was, and I'll give everybody the link, said that what happens if as the co-pilot, before you can actually understand what's going on, either help navigate it or do whatever protocol you need to make sure that the automatic mechanism goes into flight? What happens if the plane tilts at an angle that is so dangerous and it plummets out of the sky and harms the people, American people all across the globe? This is so serious. So this is one of the reasons, or one of the explanations, for tens of thousands of flights being canceled, tens of thousands of flights being halted or landed because it's unsafe. Now, look in one of that video where I said unV'd pilot has heart issues mid-flight, or I might have said the D word mid-flight, transitions mid-flight. Also in that video, I said there were pilots and stewardess who had reported having to call EMTs to their rescue, to their hotels and to wherever they were while they were preparing to go to work. And so this caused a very big issue with a lot of our pilots and stewardess. Now, keep in mind, a lot of you know that becoming a pilot is a very, very challenging thing to do, because you have to go through all these protocols that ordinary people may or may not have the presence of mind to do. Because what it is that a lot of our pilots are actually military people who have retired from the military. Our military brothers and sisters who got a pilot's license, or who were already pilots fighting for the American people, or fighting for their people in their other countries. So when they took this job to be a pilot at the airlines, they understood and overstood and understood what was constitutional and lawful and what was not. And when they saw that these fake laws were put in place to force them to do this against their will, then they joined the lawsuit. Now, family, having said that, a lot of people are saying, okay, with this new type of V word that has just come out that starts with the O, that if you unscramble the words, it comes out to moronic, that one. Whether it's that, or whether it's this new lawsuit that's causing all of these flights to be canceled, no matter what, it's important for us as a human family to prepare. Because remember what I said, proactive people take control of their lives. They take the initiative to solve a problem, or to do something, or to work out a situation before the problem even arises. Now, history has taught us time and time again, even what we went through in 2020 and 21 has taught us that when things like this happens, they might completely do something with the government, shut the doors, and try to ask everybody to stay home. So we already know that they have the propensity or the inclination or the likelihood to do something like that. I'm not saying they will. I'm not even saying that we would go for it. But what I am saying is history has taught you that this is possible. So family, taking into consideration all the things I've told you, taking into consideration that I've heard, and I have not verified that because I looked on DuckDuckGo, I looked at all my sources, that there are military on the ground, taking consideration that certain states have and are currently forming their own militia to protect themselves, taking into consideration they're protecting themselves from something, from an institution, from an enemy. So you wouldn't be protecting yourself if you weren't preparing for something that could happen. So let's say the military is on the ground. We learned we learned from 2020 and 2021 that military would be on the ground to enforce certain laws, and also to fight against any attacks from those corporations that are funded by that man with the letters GS. Those corporations that start with the A, that other corporation that starts with the B, that's supposed to be helping Black people. So military was on the ground and National Guard was on the ground because they knew ahead of time that these people were going to get the people riled up and angry and spark something within us, especially those of us who are indigenous that have been historically oppressed, as well as other people who are just tired of the shenanigans. Our great military and leadership understood and overstood and understood that the people who are in control of the government, which, by the way, govern being control, ment being your mental or mind, those people who are engaged in mind control, along with their cohorts like the mainstream media, will launch a Black Swan event, may launch a red flag event. Look up Black Swan and look up red flag events. They may do this in order to spark anger and emotional reactions from the people. So having said that, and having overstood that this is a possibility, the National Guard was on the ground to make sure that when those people got out of sorts, that they can fight back, because they understood, or they overstood, that these people, although they work for certain foundations and the government and the CCP, they would try to recruit people like you and me to join in the takedown, or to join in massive rallies, because because we want to express our dissent or we want to express our displeasure. But please, family, keep your emotions in check, remain calm, and be proactive. That was the point of my whole dissertation yesterday when I talked about the 7 habits of highly effective people. One of the things that highly self-actualized, highly effective people do is they plan ahead. They understand that they are in control of their own lives, and they take the initiative to solve a problem and be prepared before it even arises. So what are you saying, Dr. P? That's what my students used to call me when I was a teacher. What Dr. P or Dr. Pruitt is saying is, remember what happened. Well, remember what history taught us. So be prepared, guard yourself against attacks, understand that these organizations and these entities, I call them programs that start with the ANTIFA and the other one with the letters B, L, and M, they may be launched in order to get you to participate in something. But the overall goal is to get you to participate so then they can bring on police and other people to come on and to squelch the dissent or to calm the masses down. Then you'll have to have the National Guard to combat whatever these organizations and people do. But please be aware that if something happens, which I don't think we'll allow, but if something happens, know that they have facial recognition, and facial recognition picked up on the people that were rioting instead of peaceful protesting, trashing stores and ATM machines and banks. And what they did is they waited, and then when it was a sufficient time, they moved in on those people and arrested them quickly and put them in jail. So be calm, be proactive, keep your emotions in check. How else can you prepare? Have some food, have some water, have some seed, have all these things. Have your Second Amendment rights, because it's interesting because when you look it up, Robert Kennedy, I think it's Robert F. Kennedy Jr., said they went against almost every last one of our amendments to the Constitution, these nefarious beings in power, except for your Second Amendment. But I even saw them attacking the Second Amendment. So know what your Second Amendment rights are. Know that you are responsible for your own life as a sovereign being. So let's go, because I want this to be a relatively short video. What do I mean by sovereign beings? You are not a slave. You are not even a citizen, because a citizen is actually a slave. You and I are sovereign individuals. Let's break it down. The word sovereign has at its root the word reign, meaning to rule. The word sovereign has R-E-I-G-N at the root. It means to rule. It means you rule over your own life. So that's what's at the root. S-O-V-E, which is the prefix, is derived from the words meaning super and over and above. So you are super, over and above and beyond having ruled over your own life. So they try to make us think, oh my God, white supremacy is such a horrible thing. White supremacy, and they try to make you use those words because words cast spells. White supremacy, white supremacy, white supremacy, black supremacy, this supremacy. The more you say it, the more power you give it. Family, nobody has more supremacy over your life than you. You are a sovereign being. You have reign over your own life. You have the rulership over your own life. The scripture, if you follow the Bible, says both in the Old and New Testament that ye are gods. You are the God over your own life. You have the consciousness of the one, the great spirit in your body, in your mind, in your soul. You are supreme. No one else is more supreme than you. And when you look at the word white, look at the etymology of the word white. It just means pure. It was a class. It was a status for people who have prosperity and wealth. We all have prosperity and wealth. Some of us lost it because our families moved away from the land and moved inside of the cities to work for corporations. You see how they tricked us? We gave up our farms and our seeds, so now they have control over our food. I really recommend you go over my last few videos. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Push the bell button so that you can receive notifications, because I'm giving you information that's coming from my soul. You are sovereign. Be proactive and not reactive. Plan ahead. Get some seeds, get some food, get some water, get some toilet paper, get some batteries, get some flashlights, start, if you can buy land, get some. If you know somebody who owns land, let's start planting our own garden, because two things are happening simultaneously. One is the nefarious people are trying their hardest to fight back, even though they know that they've lost. Two, the white hats are fully and totally in control. However, they can't unleash everything. They can't show their hand. That's the art of war. Never show your hand. And sometimes you have to blend in with the enemy in order to confuse the enemy. But family, the war is over. Take control of your life as if it's over now, because we're moving into 2022, which is the NESARA era, which is the age of Aquarius, which is the great awakening. Be excited, be joyous, be happy, and be prepared. Be proactive, because if you're not proactive, you will have a knee-jerk reaction to whatever they have planned. But again, when you understand history, you take control of your life and you solve problems before they even arise. How do you do that? The second step in the 7 habits of highly effective people is to begin with the end in mind. You know you need a farm. You know you have your own businesses. Write it out. What does that look like? Create a vision board. Sit your families down. Write it out. Write a mission statement out for your business, a mission statement for your life, for your family, and come together for your community and execute it. How do you execute it? Principle number 3 of the 7 habits of highly effective people by Stephen Covey is put first things first. So whatever you need to do first, prioritize your life, prioritize your plan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You did bullet points. Remember outlines when we were in 6th grade? I used to love doing outlines. Remember, put first things first and then go through the list and mark them off. Number 4, think win-win. Understand that we're all going to win. We have an abundance mentality. There's enough wealth and resources upon this earth for everybody. We're all going to win. We're all going to do well. So have a win-win mentality and start to create these wonderful humanitarian projects, these wonderful businesses, these wonderful community agencies. You can do some things with very little money. You just have to understand that money is not the only resource. People, skills, abilities, all that is resources. So when you know there's an abundance of wealth and food and land and silver and gold on the planet, and you come from that paradigm, then you're not acting like, I'm a slave, I gotta fight, I gotta complain, I gotta yell, I gotta go march, I gotta scream, I gotta cry. Now, there may be a place for that, but when you are proactive and you think win-win, you are right now executing those plans. See, the people who executed their plans, they weren't taken completely off guard like many of us were. Principle number 6, synergize. Oh, no. I forgot one. After think win-win, that's 4. Number 5, seek first to understand and then to be understood. Go to people in your family, go to people in your communities and listen to them and ask them, what skills do you have that can contribute to us building up this glorious, wonderful, magnificent society, because we're creating a new world. Then listen to them attentively, leaning in, giving them your full attention, giving them eye contact with your posture open and not closed, not thinking you have all the answers, because none of us have all of the answers, and just fully having empathy and high regard for them no matter what their skills are. Because I remember growing up thinking, I don't want to learn how to sew. That's for housewives. Ew, I'm going to be a career woman. And then I ended up getting married at an early age and becoming a housewife. And I had to call my grandma and say, oh, I forgot some of these basic principles of how to do certain things. Now, luckily, she prepped me, so I knew how to plant seeds. I knew how to pick greens and pick fruits and vegetables. I knew how to wash them. I knew how to pick them. I knew how to cook. I'm a very excellent cook. But there were times in my life where I looked down upon other skills and abilities because they weren't in alignment with what I thought made the most sense, which was going to college. But 2020 and 2021 taught us that having a college degree does not mean that you are going to have a job. So instead of thinking about only jobs, let's also think about creating jobs. Somebody has to work, so don't disrespect workers because you'll need them. So seek first to understand, listening to them, and then share your ideas, then to be understood. Principle number 6, or habit number 6, synergize. Okay, so we're having a brainstorm, we're a meeting, we're talking, we're having a family meeting, which I used to do when my children were young. We had family meetings, and we still do sometimes. We are having a think tank. So let's look at your skills and my skills and find out how we can put them together and synergize. You see the word energy or energize? Your energy plus my energy. I mean, that equates to something wonderful. And then 7, sharpen the saw. So, listen to me when I tell you that these 7 principles will help you with your life. They helped me tremendously. And look and read other books. So sharpen the saw. That means you practice these behaviors as often as you can, as much as you can, until they become a part of you, until you build that magnificent community. Because family, where we're going, banks as we know it will exist. Big corporations as we know it will cease to exist. Banks will cease to exist. Major corporations will cease to exist. So the Creator may be allowing this to happen so that we can learn a valuable lesson not to give up our power because we are sovereign. That's what I wanted to bring to you today. I hope you got something from this very, very informative, short 28 minute video. I love you. I'm going to go see my family members. Remember, you have rulership and control over your own life. Let's act like it. Let's think like it, and let's act like it. And in my conclusion, when you think of money, why not think of bartering as a way of having money, and also collecting silver and gold, because we are moving back to the silver and gold standard. There are many countries that have already repatriated their gold. There are many states that have already made gold and silver legal tender. And if you have it and you feel so inclined, share it. Share some. Even if it's just one coin, gift somebody so that they can start their journey to sharing. I love you, family. Have a magnificent, glorious day. Make it great. And let's get ready for this exciting, wonderful, prosperous, joyful new year. Signing out, Dr. Pruitt. Bye.